Welcome to my spoiler review of Shazam Fury of the Gods. Both the main cast and director David F. Sandberg are back with the sequel to the 2019 hit, and while not as big as the first film, still has plenty to talk about. Let's open it up and get started. The film opens on a museum, which has a staff from the last movie, as we're filled in on more details about the artifact. Three deities see it and claim for themselves. They are the elemental goddesses Hespera, by Helen Mirren, the Chaos Goddess Calypso, played by Lucy Liu, and the Reality Goddess Anthea, played by Rachel Ziegler. Directing the place, they proclaim that only a champion on their level can stop them. Q Gilligan cut to Shazam, played again by Zachary Levi, talking to his therapist, who reminds him he's a pediatrician. Nice joke, nice Annabelle Easter egg. After being reassured by the doctor regardless, he and the other members of the Shazam have to stop a suspension bridge collapse and rescue the drivers on board. Yes, I do lampshade the stereo of one driver playing Holding Out for a Hero during the sequence. Anyway, after that, the team is trying to balance their early powers with their future as people. Well, Clark is a writer, Bruce is an entrepreneur, Diane's an art restorer. I can do this all day. Most of the cast reprise their roles from the last movie, with Gase Carolyn Curry taking over both the civilian and superhero roles from Michelle Roth. Don't need to get into why, not sure that's done that pretty well. Also, remember how Freddie Freeman has a tree of life on one of his shirts. Be important later. Further complicating matters is that Billy and others living at the home are aging out, which is giving them a new layer of conflict. Billy is also given a grave warning in a dream, though it's something of a mixed signal, as said dream had him dating Wonder Woman as the wizard impersonated her. Speaking of awkward dates, Freddy uses super form to try and put the moves on Anthea, who is incognito as new student Anne. Just saying, she's 1,000 years old and you have a bad leg in your human form. It will never work out. Billy starts talking about what he found out, and Mary starts finding out more details on the Daughters of Atlas. This is where the part where the Tree of Life comes into play, and we'll get into more detail later. They also score more tomes in the Rock of Eternity and also exchange a pen named Steve. Okay, that's amusing to me. Plus, I'd rather have a magic pen than AI apps to consult. The wizard was coerced into reforging the staff of the goddesses, and to show they're evil, school principal is cursed and told to jump off the roof. Cold, but not exactly the same as how Savannah ejected his dad and brother from the boardroom in the last movie, even after they tried to pleasure how they treated him as a child. And outs herself as Anthea, and starts making the buildings shift around each other like a discount Inception. They're searching for the Seed of Life and take Freddy with them as a bargaining chip. Hespera also seals the whole city in a dome. Anyway, Freddy is placed in with the wizard, and while he starts pondering escape plans, they do more research on what they're up against. With Steve's help, they send a message to Hespera and Calypso demanding Freddy be returned unharmed. They also surprise and mention a Gatorade. Freddy and the wizard are thrown into the pit, and one of the soul creatures are in with them, the dragon Laden. And they has a power of Axis, and after returning Freddy's cane, he gives him and the wizard a way out. Billy agrees to meet with Hespera to bargain for Freddy over cheesesteaks, but the goddess is not easily swayed. As for the Fast and Furious comparison, certainly interesting given how many actors have overlap in those two franchises. The powers of everyone but Mary, Sasha, and Billy are taken, and the ensuing fight is actually pretty fun. Hespera and Calypso are imprisoned, but the two slip away into the Rock of Eternity. Hespera has gotten a hold of the Golden Apple from the Tree of Life, which is the next part of the plan. Obvious symbolism is obvious. Freddy tries to take the fruit, but overhears their plan to summon ancient monsters. Freddy has powers to restore Billy's help, and Calypso sends Layden to Earth. The Shazam reveal who they really are, and Pedro also comes out to his foster parents. Cool. Not like that's any weirder than being a superhero. Billy and Mary start playing Keep Away the Fruit of Life, much to Calypso's irritation. She reclaims her fruit, planting in Citizens Bank Park. She even calls it a fitting place for a garden. Well, messing up sports stadiums may not be the biggest cop movie trope, but it's on the list. The Tree of Life emerges from the fruit, taking root all over the city. Only the second weirdest use of that I've seen. The first is still the Terrence Malick movie. There's also a lady getting spooked out of her shoe, and The third act destruction of the city of brotherly love has begun. Monsters emerge from tree roots, including the Manticore, the Harpy, the Minotaur, and the Cyclops, are wild in the streets. Not even the director is safe from being thrown around by the Harpy. Side note, though it's spreading through the city does make me want to play more Devil May Cry 5. Billy realizes what must be done to stop the Daughters of Atlas, and the rest of the family is eager to help. Though he's coming of age, he will always have a home with them. Just as Billy's family is coming together, the Daughters of Atlas are having a wedge drawn between them. Oh dear, what's Barry done now? Calypso turns on Hespera, stabbing her and taking Anthea's powers. More Harpies invade the city. Darla hatches a plan with Steve. They need unicorns to fight, and they need Ambrosia to get the unicorns. Here's something I haven't mentioned yet. There's been a running gag with Skittles, and I wonder how much Eminem and Mario is paid to get in the movie. Billy smacks Layden through a building while dressing Calypso as Khaleesi, nice cross promotion WB Discovery, and he does lampshade hurling a truck at them. There's even a cameo from the Formation version of the character Michael Gray. If Billy does stick around, I'm okay with him being the less profane Deadpool of DCEU or DCU or whatever it's going to be called next. Turns out the magic can harm them was actually part of the comic lore. Billy realizes the true power of the staff and goes to face Calypso. Here's the payoff for the running gag. Skittles are the Ambrosia, and it's no weirder than eating E.T. with Reese's Pieces, as Darla claims Taste the Rainbow, punctuating the line with an MF during a stampede. Well, there's your PG-13, folks. Hespera has survived the attempt on her life, leaving Calypso and Layden as the last ones to stop. It takes their combined might to stop them, leading back to an electrifying final battle at Citizens Bank Park. After a long brawl, Billy thrusts a step into Layden, ending the dragon and Calypso. Hespera dissolves in the dust, declaring Shazam a true god after all. Though it seems Billy has fallen, a surprise visitor has come to his wake to revive him. Wonder Woman, for real this time, played by Gal Gadot. While the third installment has been paused over creative differences and her remake of Cleopatra with frequent collaborator Patty Jenkins, I'm open to the idea. Billy's extended family regroup in a newly rebuilt home, closing the wizard joining their ranks, and the credits rolling to the pages of the Book of Ages, and a Lost Conversation by Junkie XL playing. The first stinger sees Shazam being offered a spot in the Justice Society, which he accepts without much beyond a few quips. Apparently the offer would have been made by the JSA themselves, but that was one of the ideas quashed by the feud between WB Discovery and Dwayne Johnson. So it wasn't just one movie hit with infighting, it was at least two. The second stage has rejoined Dr. Sivana and Mr. Mind, and their repartee does make a good illustration of the current uncertain future behind DC on film. More on that in my closing thoughts. While not the breath of fresh air the first film was, I still enjoyed it for the most part. My only real issue is that they kind of play it safe, despite the people in charge claiming this will still connect to the remaining slate of 2023. I reaffirm that I do not consider the Flash and Blue priorities at this time. That brings me to the financials. Though the film had a similar budget to the first, it makes significantly less at the box office, taking over just $57 million in the US and $133 million worldwide. When factoring in both competition from John Wick Chapter 4 and Super Mario, this film made less worldwide than both The Suicide Squad in 2021 and Wonder Woman 84. Those both had simultaneous streaming releases during the worst stretches of the pandemic. When James Gunn and Peter Safran reboot the franchise later this year, this raises questions about the future of the series and the remaining films on the slate. If you were to ask me about a third film at this stage, I would reply, I don't know. I didn't see that viral video on Levi's Instagram, but just reading the transcript seemed to corroborate some of the reported behind-the-scenes drama. As for Sandberg, he's going back to horror for now, so I'm not expecting Shazam 3 anytime soon. Even less certain is which characters will be folded into the reboot plans. Though Warner Bros. Discovery has been adamant about keeping the Flash and Blue Beetle around, I'm not entirely convinced. I have a feeling that these versions will be dependent on if they do as well as the suits are claiming. Given the competition, controversies, and the franchise overpromising and delivering for many, they have an uphill battle on their hands. Honestly, I will be finding the Cat the Snyderverse in Elseworld and also use that label to release Batgirl as well. Though not right when they open, I will be addressing the Flash and Blue Beetle at later dates to be determined. That will be all for now. Take care.